The United States is the greatest country on Earth. At least that's what we hear pretty often. But how is the greatest nation on Earth falling behind the world when it comes to fighting climate change? Watch this short video and find out. A quick note before we get started. This is a brand new channel where we talk about all the vital energy, technology, and climate change topics. If you want to support this mission, and if you like the content, please help out by clicking the like button below and also hitting the subscribe button. It won't cost you anything, but your help will mean more content and videos in the future on this important topic. Thanks for your support. United States of America, inventor of the microchip in the PC, reserve currency of the world, world's most powerful military, and the world's leader in space exploration. By many accounts, an example for the world. But where on this list does this major nation fall when it comes to stopping climate change? In this video, we'll look at how the US stacks up against its most significant geopolitical adversary. Finally, in the end, we'll also see who came in first and last on the list. You're in for a surprise. All right, let's get started. An international initiative called the Climate Change Performance Index aims to enable transparency in global climate politics. Every year, it compares 60 individual countries' climate protection efforts. It measures 4 different indicators. Let's go over them now. Indicator 1. Greenhouse gas emissions. The U.S. scores number 57 out of 60 countries on the topic of carbon emissions. Here, we're looking at carbon emissions per person in the country and how the U.S. is trending compared to the global goal. It's overall not looking very good. China also ranks low here. Its breakneck economic growth and hundreds of millions of its citizens starting to enter the middle class, buying cars, and generally living more Western-styled lives means a more negative impact on the climate. It scores 50 out of 60 on the list. Indicator 2. Renewable energy. In the area of renewable energy, the U.S. ranks 53 out of 60. Historically, renewable energy was not a strong priority in U.S. politics and remains low. Although current President Joe Biden has pledged more action, political divisions in the U.S. Congress remain an obstacle to moving faster. China ranks almost in the top 30% of countries, ranking 23 out of 60. China has invested considerable sums into renewable energy, such as solar, and some cities are almost entirely converted to 100% electric vehicles. However, China is still not phasing out coal-powered electricity fast enough. So we've covered 1 and 2, and so far it's not exactly looking perfect for the US. However, the US is not the lowest on the list. Stick around to find out who is and who made it to first place. Indicator 3. Energy use. It's not surprising that one of the wealthiest nations on Earth consumes a lot of energy, and for this reason, the US ranks almost at the bottom at 58 out of 60. Americans simply use a lot of energy for all kinds of things, such as heating, lighting, as well as driving cars. Fuel efficiency standards in the US are also very lenient compared to other nations. So what about China? Well, in this area, China comes in just one place above the US, 57 out of 60. The main reason for the low score is that China's population is consuming more and more goods, which of course is somewhat of an issue in a country of 1.4 billion people. Indicator 4. Climate policy. This is the final indicator of countries' efforts toward climate protection. And finally, we have some good news. This is where the US does well, or at least a lot better than the others. At 23 out of 60, the US has increased its rating due to the recent decision to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement and the latest push to introduce infrastructure bills to invest in climate technologies. However, the lack of a phase-out plan for coal power remains an obstacle to advancing more on the ranking. China clocks in here at 13 out of 60. The Chinese Communist Party has stopped funding coal plants internationally, but is still funding them at home. However, it has very ambitious targets for renewable energy implementation and electrification of its vehicles. These efforts combine to a relatively good score on this indicator. So let's have a look at the final score. Well, the US still has a long way to go to get to the top of this scoreboard. However, a better score on policies leads us to hope for more positive action in the future, so it may catch up to the world and become a true leader in this field like it is in so many others. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Except we forgot one thing. Who had the best score in the world and who had the worst? Results for the 2022 Climate Change Performance Index are Denmark. This quaint little Nordic country came in at the top due to lots of wind energy and a strong focus on phasing out coal energy. The biggest loser in 2022 was Australia. The country down under is unfortunately also down under in the rankings when it comes to efforts to protect the climate. A surprise when we consider the beautiful nature of the country. Experts say that the country's global standing has been damaged by climate denialism of politicians and their refusal to recommit to international initiatives. This has made them the loser on the CCPI list. Well, that concludes today's video. Thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe to the channel to support the channel and get more exciting videos on technology and climate change.